everything's good on the front. And I believe I have Don Burnett on the line. Good morning, Don. Are you there?
I am here, Ken, bright and squirrely, but not feeling too good. I've just gone through 3 days of not feeling well at all.
Stomach flu or something, eh?
Gastro thing going on.
There you go.
I think I caught it from my 20-month-old granddaughter. She's a beauty, but she was germy this week.
Oh, that'll happen. It's kind of par for the course, isn't it?
So just to be fair, I thought, why come in and give Ken the same darn thing?
Yep, I appreciate that. Well, right on. Well, we might as well just go straight to the tips and the plants of the week, so you can go ahead and start on that.
You bet, Ken. Tip of the week for me is if you've come across a particular grape variety from a fellow gardener, or you might even get a grape variety that you bought from a commercial guy or whatever, commercial farmer, you don't know its name, consider rooting some clones this year. I mean, I'll explain how during the show, and if I don't get a chance today, I'll definitely talk about it next week, because it's coming up the time now to do that, to root some grape cuttings, and it's easy if you know what you're doing. My plant of the week is Hawerthia genus. Now, I've been doing these groupings. Last week it was the Gasteria. This week it's the Hawerthia family, and I know that's one of your favorites, Ken.
Yeah.
It's a large genus of small succulent plants endemic to southern Africa, Mozambique, all through there. Like aloes and Gasteria, they're members of the subfamily Aphodelioideae, and they generally resemble miniature aloes, except in their flowers, which are distinctive in appearance. And this is what you've often said, Ken, that you can tell the different genuses by their flower forms. So they're popular in container plants, very popular. You see them all over the place. These plants were described by Henry August Duval, 1777 to 1814. In 1809, he discovered these, or described them. The genus name is derived from Adrian Hardy Howarth's name, a botanist and avid succulent collector. So there you go. That's Hawerthia.
Yeah, fabulous. Well, I also have a tip on a plant, and my tip of the week is that to remember that next, I believe it's March the 7th. March the 8th is Seedy Sunday here in Kelowna. And I'll be down there. I'll have my own booth set up, and I'll be ready to answer questions. I'll be handing out some of the pamphlets on cold crops, and that's lists of vegetables and things you can get started early. And, this is the year when you can get those vegetables out nice and early. For the plants that like to be cold, not the ones that love the heat, but the ones that love to grow cold. So it's one of these great opportunities, and to access that pamphlet, you can pick one up when I'm down at the Seedy Sunday. That's at Parkinson Rec Center on the Sunday, the 8th of March. All right, now my plant of the week this week is a lovely cut flower, as it is Valentine's Day, and happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. And my favorite cut flower, just because it's got to be the longest lasting cut flower out there, and that's the alstroemeria. And alstroemerias are just one of the most beautiful cut flowers you can get, and come in a variety of colors, and just a beautiful thing. But are they ever long lasting? You often get between 2 and 3 weeks out of those guys. Just a beautiful cut flower, and highly recommended. All right, that's my tips and plants for this week. Remember to check growercoach.com, Grower Coach on YouTube, and just check in on a regular basis. It's a great idea. That's my tips and plants.
Right on, Ken. I want to wish happy Valentine's Day to everyone else, too, especially to my dear Donna and my kids and all my close family members and all our friends and all those beautiful, lovable gardeners out there. Can't forget that today is Victoria Seedy Saturday. Today,
right?
February 14th, kicking off the gardening season in Victoria. You guys are always a little ahead of us here in the Okanagan, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate that. We'll live with that. But we love you guys, and I'm sure you're going to have some fun today at the Victoria Seedy Saturday. we'll talk a little bit more about that as the show goes on.
Yeah, these seedy Saturdays and seedy Sundays are fabulous, and they're definitely something you want to look into. I believe the Penticton seedy Saturday is on the 21st. That would be next Saturday. And so write that down. If you're in the Penticton area, you can get in there, or even if you're anywhere, you can zip down there and enjoy that day of exchanging seeds and plants and purchasing all kinds of gardening goodies. It's a real great opportunity. And so again, if you want to check if you have a seedy Sunday in your area, you go to www.seeds.ca, the Seeds of Diversity, of course, and they will tell you what's going on with all the seedy Saturdays and Sundays throughout Canada. And if you don't have one in your community, maybe you should reach out and put it together, because it's a great opportunity.
Ken, I don't think it has to be the Master Gardeners. A lot of the seedy Saturdays and Sundays are put on, the Master Gardeners spearhead them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be the Master Gardeners. It can be another group as well doing the seedy Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that all works, but...
yeah, that's why if you go to that Seeds of Diversity, the seeds.ca, and they have all that information there. Plus, they give you numbers to contact and people you can send emails in and communicate on that, because it's a great opportunity, and they can tell you the rules, the guidelines, what you need to do to sign up, and they help with the advertising on the website there.
And, it's something about seeds themselves, just the seed. I think in all of gardening and all of horticulture and all of everything, the most miraculous event is when a seed germinates, it comes to life. I mean, when a plant grows, you see new growth, it forms a bloom and fruit. That's great. But actually see it open up a little dry thing, and it opens up into a little seedling. There's something cool about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, this is time of year. Today on the show, we'll talk a little bit more about what we need to be seeding at this time of year, and so maybe even some of the new plants that are coming up for 2026. And, in the next couple of weeks, we'll definitely be talking about new plants, because this is the season we'll be starting to think about that, and especially some of our Proven Winners group, which are always fabulous introductions and really cool plants to try out.
Well, it's 3 minutes and 29 seconds longer each day today, starting now. 2 hours longer than the winter solstice, which is the shortest day of the year back in December. And but we've got a ways to go, because it's 6 hours and 15 minutes shorter than the summer solstice. So we get 6 more hours to look forward to as time goes on through the spring here. And the long days are definitely, I'm looking forward to those. It's 2 degrees in Kelowna this morning, which is unusual a bit for this time of year. 4 at the UBC terminal there, and 20 degrees in the greenhouse. Of course, always 20 degrees in the greenhouse. And it's 4 degrees in Victoria and 4 in Penticton. Look at that. Penticton got up to Victoria today. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
and highs of 5. Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Highs of 5 in Kelowna, 8 in Victoria, and 7 in Penticton are predicted for today.
Beautiful. Well, it certainly doesn't seem like February weather, but we will take it. It's great. It's fabulous. It's warm. It's beautiful. And the other day I thought it was spring, and I think some of the flowers were thinking that too. And, that's our only worry we really have in gardening, is that things get going a little too early and they start to do their thing. And I saw maple trees the other day just starting to push, and you could see the flowers starting to come out on the ends of the branches. And I was thinking, that's not good. And, as long as we don't, I would say -5 is sort of the brink at this point. Like, if it goes beyond that, oh boy, we better be careful. And again, it's not always how cold it gets, but how long it gets cold. And, even if we got a -3, but it started at, 7 in the evening and went right through till the next morning at 7 a.m., 12 hours of -3 can be pretty hard on plants, that's for sure, especially these soft shoots that are starting out.
But like you and I, who are kind of, we're kind of scientific gardeners. We watch things like a hawk and watch the developments and what they do and everything. That's part of gardening too. Not everybody is interested in that aspect of it, but we are. And, because it's vulnerable right now out there, my winter aconites are in bloom. My little saxifrage is blooming, as I sent you an email with that, that sort of thing. So it's going to be interesting. It's not going to kill the darn things if we get a good solid frost, but it'd be interesting to see how much damage is done to the blossom and the new growth. It's not going to kill the plant, but in some cases there could be some death and destruction there. But in most cases, it's going to knock off that early bloom that is coming on there. And it's fun. It's actually fun more than a negative thing for me. How are you making it? Like I left my geraniums out last fall to see how long they could stay out. If we wouldn't have got that little bit of -9 back in November, I guess it was, or no, December, early December. I have to have a look. But if we didn't get that, my geraniums would still be blooming outside.
Yeah, that's one of those things.
If anybody's in Victoria still has geraniums outside that haven't been nailed, let us know, because that's kind of neat to have that happen. I think in Victoria, you could probably have some. One of the things, Ken, I don't want to keep jabbing on here, but look at. I was just going through some old stuff in my phone, cleaning up my pictures in my phone. I've got pictures from 2019, and my phone's getting jammed up. So I'm eliminating a lot of the stuff. So I'm transferring it to my desk computer. But we were at the Botanic Gardens where do they surf on the island?
Pacific Rim.
No, right.
Pacific Rim, Tofino.
Place where we at? Yeah, my mind's gone. Anyway,
okay.
It's the Botanic Gardens there, and I'm positive I've seen a picture that I took back then of a tree fern. A tree fern.
Yeah. Some of them might survive out there.
Yeah.
Hey,
and it was.
Don, sorry to interrupt, but we do have to take a break. We're just going over here by a bit. So can we just continue on the tree fern thing when we come back after these messages? And on that note, we'll be back right after these messages with more of The Garden Show. Alrighty, we are back. And Don Burnett, you have been chatting about a tree fern that you saw. Where did you see the tree fern?
In Tofino. My brain clicked in. I was actually going to look it up, and I thought, no, I'm going to test my brain and make sure I can remember these things. Yeah, Tofino. We were there. Some friends of ours wanted to go surfing. They were from Australia, and he wanted to go surfing here in Canada. And the only place really around here that you can go surfing in a surfer's way is Tofino. Now, of course, he froze himself. Even though he's wearing this big black wetsuit, he felt very cold because he's used to surfing.
He's pretty soft. He's pretty soft.
Yeah, you betcha. So anyway, it was the others that were with us didn't want to go to see this. As we were going into Tofino, on the right-hand side of the road, there's this Tofino Botanic Gardens. And I thought, we've got to go there. And I couldn't convince all the rest of us to go to a botanic garden. Interesting how that happens. But anyway, so Don and I went there and enjoyed it very much. Very, very nice. Not huge, not a large exhibit, but beautiful. And in there, I was just looking at the pictures that I took, and there were actual, what I believe are tree ferns. And I might text you a picture of it during the show here and see what you think. But the only other times I've seen tree ferns is in conservatories, like in Toronto, when we went to the conservatory there. And also, of course, when we were, down south, whether it's Florida or Mexico or Australia or whatever, anywhere warm, any of the tropical places, there's lots of tree ferns. And here they have tree ferns in Tofino. So I'll just put the question out to the folks in Victoria listening. Is that a typical thing? Are there tree ferns growing on the island? And so that's the question I have.
Yeah, there's lots of them sold in nurseries down at the coast. I know that just because I've been through quite a few of the nurseries, so they're readily available. It's usually Dicksonia antarctica is one of the common ones, but there's a couple different types of tree ferns. I'm not sure if they're just used as patio plants or if they're actually, maybe they're just like a banana tree in a way, and some people leave them out and some people don't. But because they actually stick up out of the ground like a palm tree in a way, I would really like to have a tree fern. There's no doubt about that. That'd be on my list of things to have. I guess if I ever lived down in the coastal region, I'd be giving that one a try. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of things, Ken. My mouth, I have to carry my drool cup around sometimes at these places you go. Because, for instance, I know this is a terrible tragedy down south where that elderly woman was taken from her home. But it's a terrible thing, and I don't mean to make light of it at all. It's not. It's awful. But all I can see when I'm seeing all that stuff going on CNN and stuff is all those beautiful succulents and cacti that are growing there. It's in Arizona, and the gardening there is just like upside down from what we do here. It's totally different. Dry gardening. Now, that applies a little bit in the Okanagan. I mean, we've got issues this year, I think, hopefully, that we can get some snow in those mountains. But right now, it's becoming, in my mind, an emergency almost. We've got to really be careful this year with our water. And that opens up to something I want to talk about, and that is the Okanagan Xeriscape event coming up. It's a member workshop. And I believe if you become a member, you can come to this workshop February 18th, which is coming up real quick here, at the H2O multipurpose room on Gordon Drive, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Your non-members are allowed to come, but they got to pay $50. If you're a member, it's $35. So if you become a member, you only pay $35. And I don't know what it is to be a member, but it's probably very reasonable. And, there's all sorts of things going on that thing. So that event is coming up. And you want to maybe just go to the Xeriscape, the OkanaganXeriscape.org / Xeriscape workshop you can do for the registration. But if you go to the website, I'm sure that would be fine. OXA, O-X-A, just Google OXA, and you'll get that. Yeah. And that is a great organization that is promoting the use of drought-tolerant plants and responsible gardening in regards to water. And of course, you've been in the business all your life, well, not necessarily with this part of your business, but for many, many years, you've been involved in irrigation and water use.
Water conservation, absolutely.
Yeah, water conservation and how to water responsibly, how to keep your irrigation in order so that it's not splashing water all over the neighborhood.
That's right. And, so that's why if you're in a situation where you want to do a little bit of gardening this year and you want to make sure you're doing it right and being careful and making sure that you're getting some of the drought tolerant plants, then you'll definitely I think it would be a big advantage to join up with the OXA group and participate in some of these courses. They offer courses throughout the spring and into summer sometimes, and they put on several events, including the plant sales that they put on and all kinds of things. It's really a great group, and I highly recommend it. So you can go to their website, and I believe that is oxa.org. Is that what it is, Don? Do you have the info there?
Yeah.
OXA.org.
OkanaganXeriscape.org, I believe. Yeah. OkanaganXeriscape.org.
But if you Google it, you just put in OXA, Okanagan or Kelowna or something, and it'll pop right up.
That's right. They'll search it out for you. But Okanagan Xeriscape. And Xeriscape is not spelled with a Z or a Z. It's spelled with an X. Xeriscape. Xeriscape. And
it's not Zeroscape.
It's not Zeroscape.
No, Zeroscape is the Walmart parking lot.
Exactly.
That's Xeriscape.
That's right. But Ken, that's the one thing you've got to remember too when you're working with that part of gardening. I mean, any plant that you plant needs some attention to get going, and whether it's a drought tolerant plant or a plant that needs lots of water, at first they all need water. Now that doesn't mean you go around sprinkling the whole garden because you planted some drought tolerant plants. It's babysitting. It's a little bit of effort. But once you get through that effort of getting those plants established, you can turn the tap off pretty much,
Yes, exactly. And that's one thing that we've talked about a lot over the years is that, when you do pick up any drought-tolerant plants from nurseries, that sort of thing, just remember that when you first plant them, they're not drought-tolerant. They take time to establish, and you have to get them through that. Generally, it's about a 4-week program to get them so that they start to root in. And once they get established in that soil condition, then they will become drought-tolerant in a hurry, and then generally are a good choice when it comes to, sort of plants that are adaptable to almost any climate. Now, in coastal areas these days, we're also running into droughts through the summertime, which is a bit unusual. But we have to be prepared for that as well. And just remember that you can do a little extra research on some of the plants. And remember that plants that are well established in the garden, that have been there for years and years, they're drought tolerant, pretty much regardless of the variety or species. So just be cognizant of that. Well-established plants have got their secret ways of getting water when they need it.
Absolutely, and there's some, and like everything, the diversity of plants is got to be recognized. The fact that cedars, of course, thuya cedars, they certainly need more water than the juniper family, mainly. But not all junipers are real drought tolerant. Some are, some aren't.
And same with the
thuyas.
Yeah.
And that's why you listen to the Darn Garden Show.
That's right. And remember that if you have really old cedars on your property, they don't need much water because they're old and they're well established and they have access to water.
They reach out. They're picking it up. From
I've seen cedars that are 50, 60 years old and haven't had water in 25 years, and we're in a desert climate. So, they can find it. They might sneak across the road and up into the neighbor's yard where they have water. But, that's the thing with older plants is they have their ways of finding water. But anything on the newer end, you have to be aware of what the type of plant is and the type of soil that they like. Like in the case of cedars, they don't want to be planted in gravelly, dry soils or even sandy soils. They want to be in soil that is sort of loamy and really, I would say, a little bit better on the nice side. So
with water retention.
That's it. And then you don't have to be watering every day. So if you plant them incorrectly, you're going to be fighting with it. If you plant them correctly and do the work, then you've got better odds of having those things survive. But, on that note, we still do recommend that you go with junipers rather than with the cedar family, as they are more deer resistant and much, much more drought tolerant over time. You bet.
Before I get heck from Gurinder again, I think we better take a break.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money here, Don. All right, well, that's great. We will take a short break, and we'll be back right after these messages with more of The Garden Show. Alrighty, we are back, and it is starting to get sunny out there. We're a little bit blessed here in the Okanagan to get some of the sun in the middle of winter. And on that note, speaking of sun, Dan Bruce, are you on the phone, Dan? Are you out there?
I am.
Fabulous.
That's sunny.
I'm alone. I'm out here.
Yeah, the sunny personality we all have grown to love.
Yeah.
Well, people say,
I don't know how we do it, but we do.
People say, "How are you?" And I say, "Well, I'm my usual sunny self, but all that changes after dark."
Yeah.
There you go. What have you got up your sleeve today, Dan?
Well, I've kind of got myself in a tight spot here because I got over-enthusiastic last year and picked up a number of these Epistrum bulbs.
Oh, yes.
Now, they're all demanding space on the windowsill in the living room because they almost all of them have buds coming.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Do you still have your pot of that's full of bulbs? I can't remember the name of that one.
Oh, the big La Paz.
La Paz, yeah.
I still have it. I repotted it last year. Mm-hmm. And, of course, that set it back because the bulbs have all been separated. Mm-hmm. Some have been given away.
I think I have some in the greenhouse.
Well, unless you've thrown
maybe
them out.
not. What did you give me last year? Was it actual amaryllis?
No.
You gave me some bulbs, and I've got them in the greenhouse. I just started getting them going again.
That was Hymenocallis, the kind of spider lily.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
White flowered thing.
Oh, there you go.
But you also have a La Paz Epistrum.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And
anyway, these are all sort of coming now, but my thing about them is you wait until they make the first move before you start to water them. Mm-hmm. When you see the first green shoot of either leaves or a bud, then you put the water to them little at a time. Mm-hmm. But I don't water them until they say they're ready.
Okay.
I've got about 4 of them that are still sitting there. They're certainly alive and well, but they're not moving yet.
Well, with Hippeastrum, which is commonly known as amaryllis, which is a mistitled plant, but the one that people buy as an amaryllis, the Hippeastrum, when we grew them in the green, we didn't grow them, but when we bring them in from the bulb supplier, and we had them in bins in the greenhouse in the garden center, indoors in bins, right? The darn things, with no soil or anything, just a bare bulb, would start reaching out of the bins and start blooming. I wish I would have taken pictures because it was really something to see. And so then we'd put them in pots, and of course their necks would be all crooked because they were creeping out of the bins and all misshapen. But
that means that in shipping the temperature was too high.
Okay.
That's what causes that to happen. And I think it was last year or maybe the year before, a lot of the bulbs that were sold in boxes had started to move. And so you got this contorted octopus-like thing, which in a lot of cases, it had gone too far to correct it.
Yes.
So I in looking at the bulbs, I would always open the box and leave a number of boxes on the counter.
You were one of those customers. You were one of those customers that would do that kind of thing, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you'd tip things out of their pots to check the roots and everything like that, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Look at. We were talking last week or a couple of weeks ago about the plasticized ones. What's your opinion on that, Dan?
The wax ones.
Well, I despise the whole concept.
Okay, I figured you would.
I mean, this is a living thing. Treat it with some respect.
That's right.
Let it do its thing naturally.
Yeah.
If you're wanting a plasticized bulb, go ahead, buy a plastic one.
Yeah, they last a lot longer.
They last a lot longer, maintenance free.
That's right.
Just got to dust them once a year.
Yeah, just put them in the washing machine. They'll come out fine.
But you could peel that stuff off and treat it with a normal plant, normal.
Yes,
bulb.
you could.
Yeah.
But it is. That's quite a bit of fooling around with it. Why put it in that position in the first place?
I agree. It's marketing, but I'll tell you what. I've added that whole concept to my amaryllis sheet. So if anybody requests my amaryllis sheet, I've added that plastic concept to it.
It's wax, Don. It's wax.
Or wax, I guess.
It's not plastic.
With a bit of negativity. Well, it feels like plastic, Ken, if you try to peel one off. It may be wax, but it's darn stiff wax.
It's very stiff, and yeah. So if you did get one, sometimes people give them as gifts or whatever. Then you can they will bloom while they're dipped in wax and whatnot. But the best thing is that as soon as you start seeing a leaf come on those things, time to cut that wax off very carefully. Just trim it off, remove it, and get it into a pot, and away you go.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes right back to what Dan was saying. They don't need a lot of water at first. As a matter of fact, too much water will start rotting the roots, and the bulb will decline, and before you know it, you've got nothing left. And so it does prove that point that they're able to do that to this poor little amaryllis bulb and actually keep it alive. So, but if you don't take the wax off and plant it properly after it's bloomed, it will die.
Yes, that is true.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I've got my hands on a Cornhill Nursery 2026 catalog. Cornhill is in New Brunswick, and that's where I got the post-Jion rose last year. So they sent my order of roses arrived in the mail, Canada Post, their route, and they were in perfect condition when they got here. So I'm seriously thinking about sending them another order.
Well, once you do that, Dan, I wouldn't mind having a look at that catalog.
Well, for consideration, yes, I will show it to you. Not that you couldn't go to them online, but anyway.
I guess I could. Yeah.
No, I want to come and visit you for another ulterior motive. So I'll bring the catalog
Yeah.
and show it to you. But they've got 9 pages of roses.
Wow.
Which, on the scale of things, is actually quite a small selection.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones they have been chosen with a great deal of thought and common sense.
So a little more unusual, not common varieties.
They are a mix of, a really good mix of really old roses going back into the 18th century. A lot of new roses raised right here in Canada.
Nice.
And the Canadian ones are almost all very hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have what I would call a harsh colors, but when you're working towards your goal is the hardiness of the thing, you can be excused a little bit of leeway on the other side. But the selection at Cornhill is, as I said, very, very good. There's some nice, like Charles de Mills is an old rose, and you can smell it clear across the street.
Nice.
So I will be sending them another order when I make up my mind.
Cool. I don't have room for a lot of roses, but I'll tell you what, I am very fascinated with what's out there, and so I can recommend it to people and whatnot. So it's Cornhill's Nursery, and I can look them up online, Dan. I've just made my second obelisk, and I'm working today on my third, which is really all I need. I have 3 roses that need support, and unlike you, I've always hacked them down to about 8 to 10 inches in the spring, and had them regrow, and I've enjoyed them very much. But boy, putting them on an obelisk like you've been doing and letting them kind of go and do their thing, what a fun thing to do. And a lot of the roses, especially this old antique roses, and especially the species roses, they're all mostly very fragrant, but they're not repeat bloomers. So and people say, well, why would I want to buy a rose that's not a repeat bloomer? Because they're beautiful. And Christmas only comes once a year, so the bloom of the rose will last a lot longer than Christmas does. So there you go.
Yes, I get a little intolerant with people who say, well, it only blooms once. Come on, what do you expect?
Well, yeah. There are some, I think a lot of the ones that bloom once, wow, they just are absolute showstoppers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're nothing wrong with them whatsoever. It's anyway, one thing I could say is that in all of the rose catalogs, you see the varieties, and they give the name of the person who was responsible for raising the rose.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is a good thing. I mean, it shows respect for the people who did the work. My one slight criticism of the Canadian roses is that very often the name of the person is not given.
Mm-hmm.
You have a rather blunt statement, Department of Agriculture.
Right.
Okay.
Should be more specified, yeah.
Yes, I think we need to give honor where honor is due. Who actually did this?
Yep.
Well, there you go. On that note, I think we're running out of time for this segment. But hey, we always enjoy hearing what you have to say. And the name of the rose that I'm just slipping my mind, the one that we got for Lisa,
is in English it's Polestar.
Polestar.
And in Finnish it's Polstjärnan.
Fabulous.
Okay.
That, I think, is my total vocabulary of Finnish.
There you go.
That's it.
All right. Well, we
are finished.
Yeah, we have to take a break.
See you later.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks for calling in. It's always lovely to have you on.
I will be in town later today.
All right. You take care then.
I'm at home.
Thanks.
I'm at home today.
All right. Bye for now. And on that note, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back right after these messages with more of The Garden Show. Alrighty, we are back to The Garden Show here, and we have callers on the line, so we're going to go straight to the phone lines, and we have Andy on the line. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Don. Sorry to hear that you're not feeling good. But
I'm actually feeling pretty good, Andy. I think I might still be a bit germy.
Well, we'll stay away for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But hey, guys, you're talking about the weather, and this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was out in the strawberry patch and separating some strawberries that got too close together last year, and so on. And I noticed last year when I used Don's favorite 20-20-20, I think I over-fertilized because the strawberries didn't do that good, and they're everberries. And when I started digging them out this 4 days ago, it was beautiful weather, just unbelievable. The soil was so nice. And I started seeing white specks when I took the ball of the strawberry plant out to put it somewhere else. I started seeing white specks in the soil deep down. And when I pushed on the white speck, it looked like it was a piece of fertilizer. Is that possible?
Well,
it wouldn't be from the 20-20. What did the crown look like? Was it broken up at all, or did it look because there is a thing called a strawberry root weevil.
Yeah, I don't think it was that, because when I pushed on it, it pulverized, and it was just small. It was speck. It was probably a speck the size of like a quarter of a pea.
Yeah,
might be some old perlite or something.
Yeah, that could be when they're in their pots, they have a perlite mix with the potting soil, and you'd see those little bits right inside the root systems.
Yeah,
but I always have a look.
Perlite, and those plants were.
They were bare root when you got them.
They were runners that I planted.
Okay.
So I'm just baffled by what it could be, and I'm thinking, and I couldn't see how the fertilizer would get that far down.
No, just grab a magnifying glass and go out and give it another try and have a close-up look, because there's root aphids that get on, and there'll be these little clusters of little aphids, and they sometimes can look white or fuzzy depending on the species. But you can zoom right in on them, and you'll see them sitting there, and sometimes they even wiggle a little bit. At this time of year, they're pretty still. But you want to just identify, is this an egg? Is this like an actual little insect? Is this something inert, like we were saying, maybe like perlite or a little gravel or something? So just get in there, have a real close look, and even if you have to sacrifice one or get it up onto a little plate or something, right in a bright ray of sunshine or under a bright light, and have a real close examination. And from that, then you can call us back, and we can go from there.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. Thanks so much. I'll do that. And Don, I'm looking forward to your getting the grape plants growing. Because 3 years ago, when my 40 grape plants all died, I'm looking forward to starting them up again.
Well, but look at they all died. What variety were they?
Pinot Noir.
Well, that's the thing. These are wine grapes. These are European vinifera type grapes, and that they suffered 3 years ago. As you know, the vineyards just really got a licking. And so, are you making wine out of these?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. You're a wino, are you?
I'm a wino.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, I'm sorry. Because what I have in my yard are two eating varieties. One is, they're both Einset and Arkansas Reliance, both nice eating grapes made for making raisins and table grapes
Seedless,
and that sort of thing. The wine grapes, the viniferas, are all vulnerable to those rough ones. So I won't be rooting anything. You're going to have to buy those. But otherwise, normally I root a few of my varieties here. Whether I don't think I will this year, because I cut them back so fast. I don't have any canes for rooting this year. So, but we're going to talk about how to do it. So if you know somebody that has some Pinot Noir, maybe you can go and get some cuttings from them when they're doing their pruning this year.
Okay, we're going to have to cut this short, but thanks so much for calling, Eric. I appreciate that. Andy, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, we have Yvonne on the line. Good morning, Yvonne.
Good morning, guys. Happy Love Day.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day.
You can love all sorts of things. Hey, sorry, you were talking again about the amaryllis, and I did exactly that. I got one of those waxed ones, and I took the wax off, and it is doing great in my pot here, and I've got 2 leaves coming up. Yeah, it's really nice to see, so thank you so much for that. But my question is, as I didn't do anything to the stalk, should I cut it off?
After it bloomed, you mean?
Yeah, after it bloomed. Yeah, I mean, I took off the flowers, the dead flowers, but the stalk is still there.
Yeah, I let the stalk shrivel up. So what it does is it reabsorbs some of that nutrient and maybe even some chlorophyll out of that stalk, and it just starts to get kind of wrinkly looking and even starts to flop over. A little bit yellow comes in, then I just snip it right out at the base and let the rest of the plants go.
That's when I'd snip it out.
Just the stalk, yep.
Okay, and then how do I know when it needs water? Just by the top?
Once they start getting a bunch of leaves on them, you just water them whenever the surface is dry.
Okay.
They're pretty easy.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely day.
You too. All right. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Yeah, there you go, Dawn. Another amaryllis success story, and we just pulled that one back from the brink. It could have gone bad, but luckily it came right through. Just on a note, I know I have a couple things to remind people of, and lots of events coming up this spring, as always, gardening events. And so feel free to call in if you do have your own events that are happening. That's what we're all about here, is promoting the entire industry and garden clubs and any plant sales, that sort of thing. So feel free to do that. And coming up soon, and as long as we're getting calls, we'll always have lots to talk about if we don't get calls, and that is to talk a little bit more about some new plants that are coming out here for 2026. And I think this is going to go on. There are so many cool plants coming down the pipes here for this year. We're just going to see. I mean, we could talk about it every single show for the next probably 20 shows. There are so many great plants, and so I have all my lists here. And just even some general stuff about some of the new proven winners plants that are coming in. Every year they have their plants of the year, and they have one for every single category. And so we have all those, list of those as well, and they're just awesome. But what do you think, Don? We're talking a little bit about cold crops today, new plants, all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Do you have any input on that?
Well, as we go into spring, that's the excitement of searching out catalogs and searching out seed catalogs and whatnot. And also looking up websites. The American Rose Society has their website. They can give you some ideas of some of the new varieties of roses on the market. You can go into garden centers and check in with them what kind of roses they're getting in. I mean, that was one of the fun things to do back in the day when we were in business and in the garden center. Mom would actually look after that. She'd go through, and I mean, you can't. You only have so much room so you'd have to kick a few roses out, and the ones we'd kick out are the ones that didn't sell that well, of course, and then we bring new varieties on, very like tomatoes. So, but the new varieties are fun to play with. They're not always successful, but it's always fun as gardeners to work with that, and like you say, the All-American Rose selections and the All-American selections for perennials and bedding plants and that sort of thing is very, very useful to find out what's out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. That's awesome. And, not just in the rose category, but shrubs and perennials and all kinds of annuals. And at this time of year, though, we have been talking about the cold crops. And my tip of the week this week was to come down to the Seedy Sunday at Parkinson Rec Center if you're a local here. And I'll be having a booth there. And I have my pamphlets there on plants you can plant outside early. And they don't mind to freeze a bit at night. And we call them cold crops or cool-loving plants. And we've got a big, long list of those. So it's pretty cool. Pretty nice to have this opportunity this year. Everything's looking nice and mild out there. It's going to be a great spring. And hopefully we don't get any real severe cold, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. Okay, on that note, we'll be taking a short break for the news here. And we'll be back right after these messages with more of The Garden Show. Alrighty, we are back with you. And thank you so much for tuning into The Garden Show today. Gurinder, when we get a minute, I got kicked out of my my login here. But anyway, it's just it's fabulous stuff going on out there. I just wanted to mention that as I was talking earlier just about all the different events that are coming up, there's just tons of things happening in the gardening world, as they often do. And this spring, I'm involved in a program. It starts, I believe, it's right around on the April 11th, and it's out in Lake Country, and it's called For the Love of Gardening. And this is a full day of events, everything you can imagine to do with gardening. I'll be speaking there. There's several other speakers as well putting on talks, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a real nice day, and really looking forward to that. And also like I was saying on March the 8th at Seedy Sunday. March the 7th, I'll be speaking at the up in Summerland, and it's in regards to the Summerland ornamental gardens, but it's happening in Summerland, not at the gardens. We'll be speaking about primers to get going for spring. It's going to be a great little event there. So anyway, lots of things coming down the pipes, and I'll be letting you know as that happens, what's coming down. And but feel free, if you have events coming up in your garden club, or even if you wanted to have me come and speak at your garden club, I'm definitely available for that, as well as landscape consulting, that sort of thing. So at any time, you can just send an email to ken@growercoach.com. All right, so Don, how is it going so far today?
Fabulous. Ken, and you and I have leaned on each other over the years for advice, worked with each other. We agree on, I'd say, 98% of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of bump heads a little bit on, but that's okay. That's all.
That's
part
gardening,
of
isn't it?
That's gardening.
So whenever you're out in the garden and you lean forward and you bump heads right over the bed,
right.
that happens because you're both going at the same weed at the same time.
Yeah, it's always fun when we both talk at the same and we've had a couple of those over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Especially back in the day when we worked together in the garden center, we would both be doing things simultaneously all over the years. So it's a lot of fun. But I rely heavily on it. Ken, you're one of the guys in the business that not only sort of grew up in it because you started working in there as a young teenager, but also you have had some education from I think Guelph. You were involved with Guelph and that
BCIT as well.
Yeah. Yes, and very important because sometimes you pick up things, and you also, when you go to learn this sort of stuff, you develop your mind to be kind of scientific and kind of questioning things, always questioning. Don't just take things for granted that this is true or this is right. You always look into stuff and make sure that. Now that we're I'm more long in the tooth than you are, but when we get long in the tooth like this, and we've had an experience, we start thinking, some of the stuff that comes up recently that it's just recent information. Sometimes it can be very scientific and very good. Sometimes it's just stuff that you hear on the internet and things like that. So you have to be careful. I'm always questioning methodologies and what's out there. But for the most part, I think that we've come through fairly unscathed, the two of us. And I highly recommend, if you need a speaker to come out and do your thing, Ken is your ideal guy to represent the industry and represent gardening in general. And I definitely do it. I'm available as well, but you talk about long in the tooth. I don't know why they say long in the tooth, because my teeth are getting shorter as I grind away over the years. I think long in the tooth might be some other animal, like maybe beavers or something. Mm. but anyway, but some of the stuff that we say can be past history, but Ken and I have both tried to keep up with what's going on with new information and new studies and whatnot.
Well, a lot of the gardening stuff is self-taught, and going to university sites will typically give you the best information. Sometimes these gardening sites online that are just not, maybe they're just home gardeners, that sort of thing. You have to take it very carefully, that information. But if you can go straight to these educational sites that are more about again, university based or botanical based, science-based, that sort of thing, you're going to get the best information from those sites. And definitely you have to study. I always said, if you want to be an expert, it's really easy. You just start when you're about 16 or 18 years old and study for 3 to 4 hours a day until you're 50. And then when you get there, you're well on your way.
Yeah, and then you got to go back and restudy.
Well, you never stop is the key.
No,
just keep on going.
But it's a fascinating study. There's no question about it. Yeah. But you mentioned homeowners. Actually, there are big benefits of listening to homeowners. Because they have this hands-on experience. Now, sometimes some of the stuff that they've done, it's accidental and it isn't scientific and is not proven and all that stuff. But there's nothing like, especially when you look at the general area that you're from, listen to gardeners. Like we listen to gardeners in the Okanagan because it kind of relates to what we are used to doing. When we listen to some folks that are from Victoria or some other areas of the world, their gardening experiences are a little different, and their techniques and methodologies are a little different. So you have to listen to them, but consider where they live, because you can't apply those to where we live. For instance, you don't use lime in the Okanagan in general, whereas at the coast you do, because they're more acidic. So they need to sweeten the soil up. We don't have to here in the Okanagan. In fact, it's putting lime on things may not be needed at all.
No, we would often apply sulfur or sulfur-based things, especially, I know with, this might be another good year for hydrangeas possibly, if the buds don't freeze. I've had people sending me pictures of their hydrangea macrophyllus, and the buds are already, you can see the leaf shapes, coming on them. Yeah. And so hopefully they don't freeze. But those buds are fabulous, and last year we had the first full bloom of hydrangea macrophyllus throughout the Okanagan, for the first time that I think I ever remember. And then, and that was just because the winter was so mild. And here we're seeing it again this year. And so the one thing I might note is if there are people in the Okanagan, we're just talking about lime and sulfur and the differences, is that if you like the blue hydrangeas that you commonly see in coastal regions, we don't typically have those here in the Okanagan. We have pink hydrangeas, and sometimes they get, if you add sulfur and aluminum sulfate specifically into around the soil and the plants, they will absorb that and go from turning, say, a pink color turning to more purple or blue. But it takes multiple applications. And what I learned when was it? This morning, yesterday? Because again, I never stop studying. But this one thing about if you apply your aluminum sulfate starting in the fall, and then reapply it multiple times, like as you're going into spring, then by the time you hit summertime, you can again reapply aluminum sulfate for these blue-colored hydrangeas, and you'll get a really nice blue color. But it's not something... Some varieties will respond quickly to that, and they might turn blue right away. But other varieties are stubborn, and they don't want to change, and they'll take much longer to happen. So that's just something that I've recently learned, that I would say that for people here in the Okanagan, they want to get that nice blue color. Aluminum sulfate, that's the key. Application starting in the fall, probably in September, and then applying again as the season progresses in the spring. Anytime in April sounds like a good time to get going on that. But I would do multiple applications, one in April, one in May, maybe even one in June, and then in end of June and early July, when those things start to produce flowers, you got much better odds of getting blue color on those here in the Okanagan.
Right, and there are blue varieties, and in the Okanagan you plant a blue variety. It turns out a dirty blue because it can't turn real blue because of our alkaline soil.
Lack of aluminum, yeah.
Yeah.
But the aluminum's there. They just can't absorb it because the soil is too alkaline. Yeah. So if you combine the sulfur, which is acidic, with the aluminum and aluminum sulfate, it's just a winning formula. It just works.
We've got a minute here, and I just want to, before we take the first break of the second part of the show here, this week's tip from my dear wife, Donna. She's giving you a weekly homemaker's tip. This week, after cutting up peppers, cucumbers, and other vegetables similar to them, put them in glass jars, like sealer jars, rather than in plastic or in plastic bags. Somehow they stay much fresher. We've been experimenting with that. And boy, you put them in glass jars. So there you go.
And in the refrigerator, you mean?
Sorry?
In the refrigerator, like if you were to cut up a bunch of fresh vegetables, put them into the jar, put the lid on, and put them in the refrigerator so there's no air access.
I think it's the sealing of it.
Yeah, that's what I think.
It just stops it. But anyway, they stay much fresher and crisper in there.
Awesome. Well, there you go. Well, we're going to take another short break here, so we'll be back right after these messages with more of The Garden Show. Alrighty, we are back. Another beautiful day for the gardening world and for everyone else, hopefully. Just want to remind people, don't forget about the people in Ukraine. They are suffering. It's extremely cold there. all their power's been knocked out, and they're struggling minus 26 degrees. Ooh. And we have to send our love to those guys. If you want to just learn more about what goes on there on a daily basis, you can go to Jake Bro on YouTube, and he keeps everybody up to date as to what's going there with actual, he's connected with a whole bunch of people who live in Ukraine, so he keeps up to date on what's going on every day. At least every second day he puts out a new video. So check that on YouTube, Jake Bro, and you should learn more about it. It's a terrible place right now. It's a lovely place. It's just sad the way things are going.
Wonderful country.
Lovely people.
And the suffering that goes on in this world, Ken, we're so lucky right now. We're here, in our neck of the woods. We're pretty sheltered, and we're very thankful for that. Can I just say something here? Nadine was trying to reach me for my amaryllis sheet, and also Betty Robinson just emailed me as well. And their emails kicked back because I've got a fight with iCloud somehow. My system here is on Microsoft, and Microsoft and Apple don't like each other. I don't think something's going on there. And so I have to get that fixed. So, Betty, you just emailed me, and I sent that, and I got kicked back. You sent me the request, and it got kicked back. So anybody with iCloud.com emails, I'm going to have to get that fixed up, and I will do it this week. Starting Monday, I'll talk to my tech guy, see what's going on, and I will connect with you. I don't know why these guys fight like that.
If in doubt, shut it off and turn it back on again.
What's that?
Yeah. What? Just computers, in general.
Well, I do all the time, Ken, but no, my emails go out all the time. It's just the iCloud ones I can't get through.
Oh, yeah. It's frustrating, eh?
Weird.
Just this time of year, we were talking about some plants that we can get seeding on. And, Dawn, I know you've had some lists that your mom used to seed early. And some of the things that come to mind for me are, we talked about hot peppers last week, and that, you have to get those in really early, get them going.
Yep.
You need to have a hot pad, a little bit of a heating pad you can put your seedlings on to get those up and going early. We talked about onions and the whole onion family. Anything that's related to onions you can get started right now, including and especially the leeks, because leeks you have to get going very early. Celery, we talked about geraniums, seed geraniums. We talked about artichokes. And artichokes are just something you do start early, and in most of Canada they're considered an annual, even though they are biennial in most other areas. And just, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, those are things you can get started right now, and they can go outside quite early. So there's lots of things we can get going on. And this year with this mild weather, it's just unbelievable out there. You could be growing things outside right now. I mean, a little bit of frost doesn't hurt the cold-loving plants.
No, for sure. And of course, Ken, there are things like onions. You want to get your onions in early. Your geraniums you want to get in early. That's kind of thing is definitely early. Like slow-growing annuals like begonias, geraniums, coleus, impatiens, verbena. Now, a lot of these things you buy at the garden center as plants. But boy, if you've got any kind of facilities at all at home, whether it's a nice sunny window or a greenhouse. If you've got a greenhouse, you can get these things going early.
The little grow light is a grow light and a heating pad, and you can do wonders.
That's right. The fast-growing things you start in March. You can start your petunias, marigolds, cosmos, snapdragons, asters, alyssum, that sort of thing. April, you can start fast-growing annuals like zinnias and nasturtiums and sunflowers. So that's the kind of thing you want to get growing early. Then there's the direct sowing outdoors when you want to put things directly into the garden. And some of the things that we traditionally have planted directly into the garden can be started indoors. I start my beans, for instance, indoors and plant them out as a bedding plant rather than planting directly into the ground. Yeah. That gets them going a little earlier. Beans, in some cases, especially here in the Okanagan, it takes a while for them to get into fruition, into flowering. And producing the beans.
They don't like the cold early on, but they need the cool in the summer to get them really blooming.
Yeah. So definitely this time of year, it's very, very important. You know what to start early. Some of the things, if you start too early, they get long in the tooth. They get long, spindly plants, and they're not really that great for planting out. So you want to get that down. I do have a list of things. If you wanted to email me, don@thegardenexpert.com, I do have my list of things. But mine is a little focused on the Okanagan. But we're only a couple of weeks away from Victoria's seeding schedule.
Yeah, I think they're already on the go. That's for sure. But speaking of Victoria, we have Ronnie on the line. Good morning, Ronnie.
Hi. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, thanks.
I'm actually calling about Donna's tip about the mason jars.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have what's called a mason genie, which I got online because a friend told me that they actually work. So it actually seals the mason jars with the sealing lid, and then you just pop the lid off, and your stuff stays fresher even longer than without the sealing.
Mm-hmm. And you're keeping it away from the plastic too, right?
Pardon me?
You're just having them in mason jars is just keeping it away from that plastic.
You keep, as you take stuff out of that jar, you use the same lid to reseal it.
Yeah.
I had blueberries in one of these jars I was testing for 6 weeks, and they still tasted as good as when I got them.
Oh, lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously. So Donna needs to find herself one of these. I got it online.
And so it's a special lid that you use on the mason jar?
Yeah.
I can hardly hear you.
Yeah.
I say it's a special lid that you use on the mason jar?
No, it's the regular lids for the mason jar. You just don't use the screw part of it. You just put the lid on top, and you plunk this thingy over top of it, push the button, and it sucks out the air like it vacuum seals it.
Oh, perfect.
Wow.
And then you
can buy those online?
They give you a little fob thing to open it up with, and then you just keep reusing that same lid. So you can use this for all of your stuff, like your dried vegetables and like beans and things like that you would use in soups and I've used it for all manner of stuff, and I'm really impressed because I like to buy the fruit when it's on sale, obviously, and then I was overbuying for what I could reasonably eat. So this works really well.
Ronnie, what do I ask for online? What do I say?
A mason genie.
Mason genie.
Yep, Genie. And the bottom of it screws off, so it fits over the larger mouth jars and the smaller mouth jars.
Oh, fabulous!
Isn't that great?
That sounds great.
I've been looking for something to give to Donna for Mother's Day.
Well, there you go.
Do you think that would be appropriate? Or this Valentine's Day, I made her a card, but
that's nice.
I get her something for Mother's Day. A mason genie. How's that?
There you go.
It's up to you, Don.
Yeah, we're not gonna participate in that conversation.
I'll check with her. Well, I can't check with her when I see her in April because it won't have been Mother's Day by then. But
yeah, that's right. Well, we're going to see you. I'm looking forward to meeting you, Ronnie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you too. So is Cherie.
On I think it's the 12th of April. We're going to be there.
Sorry.
I think I can't recall exactly.
So Sunday's the 12th.
April 12th
on the 12th of April. April 12th. Yeah, we're going to be
there. You go.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Awesome.
Okay. Have a good day.
Yeah. Thanks,
Happy
Ronnie.
Valentine's.
Well.
Yep. You too.
Happy Valentine's
Bye-bye.
to you, Ronnie. Take care.
All right.
Oh, that's station.
Yeah, there you go. Very nice, and that's a real great tip and something that I'm sure we could all use. But yeah, very good. So yeah, just a reminder on the 8th of March. That's the Seedy Sunday here in Kelowna at Parkinson Rec Center. I'll be there with my handouts and whatnot, and talking to people, solving their plant problems, that sort of thing. You can even bring samples down that I can have a look at, and we'll figure out what's going on. And then this next weekend coming up is the 21st, and that's the Seedy Saturday in Penticton. And Don, as you were saying, today is Seedy Saturday in Victoria.
In Victoria, yes, absolutely. Get out there and get seedy today.
Yeah, where was it? It's located at the Crystal Palace location, isn't it?
Yeah, Victoria Seedy Saturday, February 14th. Kicking off the gardening season in Victoria since 1994. Victoria Seedy Saturday has been a cornerstone event for the local community as the second oldest Seedy Saturday in the world.
Whoa.
Second oldest in the world.
Awesome.
I don't know where the oldest is. The event brings together gardeners, seed savers, farmers, and environmental organizations from across the region. and it serves as a hub for seed exchanging, a marketplace for locally grown and climate-adapted seeds and plants, a space for both formal and informal learning about gardening, climate-resilient food growing, and ecological stewardship. Taking place at the Crystal Garden, Victoria, Seedy Saturday continues to grow. The 2026 on February 14th event will feature over 70 vendors, an increase from last year, offering seeds, plants, organic gardening supplies, and community resources for gardeners of all experience levels. With food costs on the rise, Victoria's Seedy Saturday is more important than ever, says Lisa Small, Victoria's Seedy Saturday coordinator. The event helps people build practical gardening skills while supporting local growers. So that's going to be fun, eh? Saturday, today, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. today at the Crystal Garden, 713 Douglas Street in Victoria.
Very
and the admission is by donation. You don't have to pay to get in. Go in and just put your toonie down or your $5 bill down or whatever you like to donate, and there you're in.
Yeah, well, sometimes a small donation, or even if I know at Kelowna they usually charge $2 a person, and that just helps to pay for the facility, because basically everything is done by volunteer, and it's greatly appreciated when people do show up, even if you're just browsing around. If you always buy a couple things, it's always nice for the vendors, but they do offer seed exchanges and that sort of thing as well. It's a great opportunity for a bunch of gardeners to get together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. We're going to take another short break here. So we do invite your calls. We're calling in from anywhere at 1-888-780-4273 or locally at 250-862-2525. We'll be back right after these messages with more of The Garden Show. Alrighty, welcome back. And yes, it's seeding time for certain plants right now, and some things you got to get on it, and onions are one of those things that you want to get those in nice and early and get them started. And Don, do you have onions started?
I'm not growing them this year, Ken, because generally speaking, when I'm down at the coast, and we'll be down through Chilliwack on the way down on our trip to the island this year, I drop in to see Brian Minter. And Brian does such a great job growing onions. I usually buy just a couple of packs from him. You get so that you've been there, done that, and some of the things I just buy in because, things change every year. Things change. Some things stay the same every year. I never deviate from what I've done over the years. But sometimes, like for years and years, I grew onions. And lots of them, the large Kelsey onions and Spanish onions and whatnot. But because I don't have a huge garden, sometimes growing something doesn't make sense. But there are other things that I do in the greenhouse that are just fun to do. And you say, why am I doing this? Because I could go out and buy them. But they're so much fun to grow that, why go out and buy them? But other things like onions, a little pain in the butt to me to grow them and trim them and keep them all, how you do. And so I'm this year I'm not growing onions, and I certainly don't grow begonias anymore. But, for folks that are at home having fun, my greenhouse is so packed with my succulent collection and my tropical collection that I just don't have a lot of room to grow bedding plants. So I do what I do, which I'll be doing fairly soon now, and that is to bring some of the plants that are in the greenhouse and enjoying it very much out there. I'll make some bench room in the greenhouse and I put up a table in the kitchen where we have a nice bright window, and I'll put those in there. And, for a matter of a month or so, if those plants are in the kitchen, they're not going to be troubled whatsoever. They'll enjoy it in there. They'll enjoy Donna's cooking, of course, because there's a great aroma coming from the stove all the time. And that gives me some bench room to work with. And so I'll be growing, I grow zinnias. I love zinnias. I grow zinnias. I'll be growing peppers. I'll be growing some tomatoes, my favorite, Belamonte, and a few tomatoes that you can't get around. And I'm going to be growing definitely lots of the cuttings of basket stuffers and things like that, geranium cuttings. I've got some really good geranium cuttings coming on now that have been very successful. It's interesting how the timing on geranium cuttings, Ken, has been so important. I've done geranium cuttings at certain times of the year and just getting very much blackleg, lots of rhizoctonia, pythium, rot, and whatnot.
Diseases,
and yet, when I did geranium cuttings at the end of the season, and coming, like we've often said, one of the best times to do geranium cuttings is when it's still warm outside in August. You can take your cuttings and actually grow them out in the garden in pots, right? And then they root up, and there's very little problems. However, I haven't done that, but when I wait a while in the fall and grow them in the fall in the greenhouse, but try and root them in the spring, I've had real trouble rooting geranium cuttings in the spring. So rooting them in the fall and keeping the small plants through the winter, I find is a lot more productive than doing it in the spring. Anyway, it's all a matter of trial and error and doing your thing. But so I don't, just because I don't do something doesn't mean somebody else shouldn't do something. I mean, planting, getting your onions in early and doing that, it's pleasurable. If you grow lots of onions, it's worthwhile to do it at home. Anything you grow lots of in the garden is worthwhile. If you only grow a few things, like I plant lots of garlic. So the garlic comes up, and I leave room in the garden for my tomatoes and my cucumbers and my beans and things like that. But I don't, because I grow so much garlic, I don't have the room for the onions that I used to have. So I just buy a few. So we got some nice onions. My dad used to eat those Spanish onions just like an apple.
Well, I know with some of the, where you buy the little sets, onion sets.
Yes.
And the past, I don't know, forever and ever, I planted them straight out into the garden, and had not really great success. They never seemed to really size up. So then I started to buy those, the empty 6-pack cells, and I'd fill that with potting soil, and I'd just put one of these little bulbs straight into this, into the 6-pack, and then put it on my heated bench with my grow light on it for about 3 weeks or so before, at the early part of the season, probably starting that in maybe mid-March. But I tell you, then those things just immediately respond, because nice warm bottom heat like that, and they shoot up to about 6 inches tall. And as soon as they hit that 5 or 6 inches tall, they're ready to plant out in the garden. And I'll tell you, that has made all the difference in the world for me. These bulb, like the size of the finished product is like, normally, like I would get, maybe it would start the size of maybe a 1/2 inch in diameter, and it would finish the end of the year at about 1 to 1.5 inches diameter, maybe. Not very many would size up. This way, they're all 3 inch or 4 inch in diameter. So it's just made a complete difference. And so now that's how I do a lot of the varieties, the golden onions, golden globes, I think they're called.
Yeah.
Stuttgarts, yeah.
Yeah, it's a common one, a keeper onion.
Yeah.
Now, that's really interesting, Ken. I might even give that a shot this year with a few. Remember in the day when I had the garden center, there was a number of sets you could buy. You've got the white onion, you've got your Stuttgart keeper onion, you've got your multipliers, you've got your shallots. When people buy shallots, when they leave the counter, I'd say, well, thanks, shallots. Anyway,
that's
the joke of the day. So those are all that we used to buy as little sets. And then, of course, you'd sell the started onions mostly, and most of those, like they'd be Walla Wallas, or they'd be the Kelseys, or some of the Spanish. Riverside is another one we used to sell a lot of. But boy, that's a great advice to try. I'm going to try some of that. Just get a few sets, because you can buy them in little bags, onion sets, and a lot of those are the Stuttgart type. And you just try a few. Might try a few.
It works much better than just planting them straight out. So, So like I said, I haven't over the years I haven't had great success, but in the last probably 4 or 5 years, I've been having pretty good success, just changing up a few things. And I even went to seeding a lot of the onions, like particularly Walla Wallas. I would seed them like on August 1st. And grow them just like in a mass, just like the problem is getting fresh seeds. So I'd have some Walla Wallas left over from the year before, and they would go to seed, and you collect that seed as soon as it's ready and just put it straight into the ground, and you just get 100% germination. So when you buy the seed off the shelf, it's often from the previous year, and the germination rates drop right off almost to nothing. So definitely getting a fresh onion seeds, getting it in there really as early in August as possible, and then those little guys grow to be just like grass, and thick in the fall, and just let them come through the winter. And then in the springtime, I just go out and I prick them out and separate them all and put them in rows. And man, those came out to be beautiful 4 or 5 inch diameter onions. So it's quite a difference when you. Those are the two techniques that I use now.
Yeah, that reminds me of Mr. Jekyll. We used to buy those Walla Wallas from every spring.
Yeah,
he would do that.
Beautiful little onions he had.
Yeah, first of all, I guess it was a big deal back in the day. The little bundles of onions we used to have. Well, the other thing about onions, though, Ken, that I found is that, darn it, you can buy a sack of onions so reasonably.
Yeah, but you know what? When you grow it in your garden, you know what goes on it. You know what's in it, and you get really good varieties, and they're especially when you're buying seeds from these small seed suppliers and the local garden centers. Much better quality and just better tasting, but more importantly, full of nutrition. Way more nutritious than products off the shelf, that's for sure.
But you're sitting in a garden. Your garden is pretty darn big compared to my garden, and so you got room. Whereas I'm typical of a lot of folks out there that don't have large areas to work with, and so everybody's situation is a little different. Like for mine, again. Onions, to me, there's other things I want to grow rather than onions, which, especially the keeper onions, the big sack of onions you can buy very reasonably. However, some of the unique varieties, as you're talking about, might be definitely something I want to do. And I'm going to try that idea of yours of your method of getting the sets and planting them in the greenhouse or in the house, and letting them grow to 4 to 6 inches, and they will take frost. Although you still have to harden those a little bit, because if they're so soft and thinking room temperature, and then all of a sudden they get 5 below.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've had them come through that and without much issues. So the onions are really good for durability when it comes to frost. Now we're going to take a short break, and Sandy, we see you're on the line there. So if you could just hold on through the break, and we'll get to you right afterwards. So we'll be back right after these messages with more of The Garden Show. Alrighty, we are back, and we're going straight to the phone lines. Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm frustrated.
Oh, gee, what's going on?
I buy these beautiful onions at the store, and you start peeling them, and they're all black underneath so you have to take off more onions.
Oh.
What causes that black layer?
Sounds like a sooty rust or something. What do you think, Don?
Well, this is the finished onion you're buying at the store.
Yeah, and they're beautiful, big, solid onions, except you start taking them off, and they've got a black layer.
A black layer on the outside?
Underneath the skin.
Well, I think it's poor storage or poor shipping or something. Something's going on there. You should onions, depending on the onion too. Maybe these are Spanish onions that were stored for a long time, because Spanish onions don't keep like some of the others like Stuttgart and that. That might be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there was a growing condition that made that happen or something.
It's possible.
Well, it could be. Yeah. And you're buying the regular grocery stores?
Yeah, I get them big bags at Costco.
Okay. Well, find out where they're from for sure, because obviously local ones are going to be better just because they're going to be fresher. And but yeah, I would consider, if you do find any of that, just to take them back and get them switched, because it's got. And if it's on a certain layer, like if you have an outer layer, like the crusty part is okay, but then you start getting into the layers of the leaves or the bulb in there, that is like, it could be just what you're saying is something to do with weather conditions. Well, that onion was finishing. It was getting towards the end, but it got too rainy or too wet, and you got a little bit of a fungus started in there, and then the outer portion is good, but the inside not so good.
It almost like there's a mold underneath the brown skin and the black layer.
Yeah, Sandy, I would definitely check back with where you bought them.
Yeah, they're a USA product. but they're from Delta, BC. So.
Oh, that's
Delta,
weird.
Yeah. Well, it's all in a matter of the storage and the shipping and the handling of the onions that are going to, and the growing, of course, too. I remember that story my dad used to tell about them sending a carload of onions back east, and he got a telegram back from them saying, sorry, we can't pay you for these because they're all bad. They're starting to turn black and whatnot. And of course they weren't. And in those days, in the 20s and 30s, it was difficult to kind of communicate. And one of our local people, one of the Casorso brothers, had the same problem, got the same thing. So he hopped on the train and went out to Toronto and said to this warehouse guy, oh, those are really nice onions. He says, yeah, you want to buy some? He says, no, I already own them. They're mine. And those are the brand onions over there.
The ones they wouldn't pay for.
And so, so we got that straightened out. But anyway, no, Sandy, I would check that out.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
All
right. And we have another caller on the line. We have Yvonne. Good morning, Yvonne.
It's me. I'm back again.
You're
guys.
back. Awesome.
It's just because I'm 64 years old, but I'm still learning a lot. So anyway, let's talk about those onion sets. So is there a difference between an onion set and buying them or the bulbs? Because you can buy the onions when they've already sprouted, right? Or you can buy the bulbs. So which ones were you talking about, Ken, when you were talking about growing them the way you do?
They're actually the bulbs. You know, you buy a little, it comes like in a little onion sack, and then they'll have a label on it, and it's full of little tiny onions.
Okay, so those are bulbs versus the onion set, which is the ones that are already starting to grow, right?
Well, onion sets that's what they call the little bulbs. So what we're talking about is probably like a seedling that they would sell in a little pack. They usually sell them in one packs, like full of little seedlings, and you have to pull them apart.
Right, yeah, because I've bought those before, so you had the greenery, right?
And that's a different animal. That's totally different.
Exactly.
We're talking about
bulbs.
The bulbs, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then what soil are you using when you start? Just a regular seed starter soil, or are you just using potting soil?
I just use any potting soil as long as it's fresh. Whenever you're dealing with seedlings or any new shoots, little guys like that, young plants, new bulbs, just start with fresh potting soil. That way you're not introducing any diseases in there, and you're good to go.
Okay, great. And then, Don, I did send you an email for that list of seeds that I can start now. So
yes.
If you don't mind,
I got that email, and I will
for a couple things, and I never got anything back.
I'll address that right after the show.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry, shoot, I forgot there was one more question I want to. Oh, so I could start celery now. I've never grown celery before, but that's going to be my experiment this year.
Celery is definitely something you want to get in early.
And there's one that's called. Are you in the Okanagan?
Yes.
Yeah, so you might want to look at the one called Utah Tall or Tall Utah, and that's a really good one. It's fabulous, easy to grow, just amazing how big they get. So be prepared, and they're just so delicious. There's nothing like homegrown celery.
Well, that's why when you buy it locally, it's one of those things like tomatoes. It's just hard to buy during the winter anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Okay, so I can start that seed now.
Yep, this is the time. Yeah, just like I say, grow light is helpful. Little heat underneath it first, and I put my grow light right by the window, so if I get a nice sunny day, they get a little blast from that too.
Okay, so you would have the grow light on even when you're starting the seed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have assorted seedlings coming on different stages, so they all go under the grow lights. Yeah.
Okay, and I did just get a grow light based on what you guys said. We went to that place. My husband actually went. Ken went to get it.
Oh, nice.
So I've got that going. So 16 hours?
No, you don't have to go that much. Usually anywhere around 13 is fine. 14,
Okay, and
12.
would you say 8 to 4? Would that be the time frame that you'd have the lights on?
Yeah, it's just when the normal daylight is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks so much, you guys. Have a great weekend.
Awesome. You too. Thanks for calling.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay. Hey, Ken, I just want to quickly mention, because I know we got to shut her down here pretty quick. Yep. Ronnie, I think, was the one that was talking about the Mason Genie.
Yes.
I go to the website here. The prices are from $26 to $75, $80. I wonder which one she got. Ronnie, if you could email me and tell me which one you got, which one you recommend, because they range. The prices are all over the place and the styles and whatnot. When I look up Mason Genie, I'd like to kind of get it from the horse's mouth exactly which one.
Yeah, how many you get in a pack would be a factor too, right?
Yeah, well, no. This is something that attaches on. One shot, you suck the...
But I mean, you only get one for $80?
Well,
do they come in a pack of 12 or pack of...
There's a mechanism here that I can see that draws this thing out with the
special
lids
right.
that the mechanism fits on. And you get
vacuum
a
pump.
Lids. It's a vacuum pump.
There you go. That makes sense.
Mason Genie. So I just want to know which one it is. I'd like to get that information. Maybe Ronnie,
I get it.
Tell me which one.
Yes, okay? I get it. That sounds like a great plan. Sounds like a cool item. All right, we're going to have to start off the tips here shortly, Don, so you might as well go ahead.
Oh, my tip of the week? Okay, my tip of the week is, and as soon as I find it here, if you have a grape variety from a friend or somewhere where this is the time of year when you can actually take cuttings. And I forgot to talk about how to take those cuttings. Next week, I'll talk about how to take grape cuttings, and so you've got the right variety that you're looking for. Plant of the week this week is a group again, is the Hawerthia group, the Hawerthia genus. It's a great large genus of small succulent plants endemic to South Africa.
Very nice. I also have a tip and a plant. My tip of the week is that I'll be down at the Seedy Sunday coming up on March the 8th. So come on down for a visit. I will have a table set up there, and I'll be handing out pamphlets, that sort of thing, especially my cold crop pamphlet, which is quite useful. And you can access that, show you all the different types of plants. You can get started very early and put them straight outside. My plant of the week this week was the Ulstramaria, as it is Valentine's Day. Don't forget that. It's a good time to look at cutflowers, and if you want a really long-lasting one, the Ulstramaria is my favorite just because it lasts and lasts. It's a beautiful cut flower, one of the best you can get. So remember to check growercoach.com, growercoach on YouTube, and remember to buy local.
Hey, and I don't know how we're doing for time, but I should do the Chigo quote of the week.
Yep.
Remember the dot connecting games when you were a child, those where you connect the dots? Some people must connect all the dots before they see the picture, while others only need to connect a few.
Oh.
Take that one and absorb it.
That is very cool. That sounds like something that's fairly deep.
Yeah, it is.
I have to think about that.
I just want to, again, wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day, in particular my dear wife, Donna, and all my family, my daughter, my grandkids. Happy Valentine's Day. It's a lovely day.
It sure is. And so don't forget and support your local flower shops and garden centers and get out and pick up some plants and flowers from them because they depend on your business to keep the doors open. So get down there and help them survive. And remember to check out all the events that are coming up this year and check out your local garden clubs to see what's coming up. And so stay tuned for all the cool things that are happening here for the 2026 gardening season. And see you at the Seedy Sunday and Seedy Saturdays throughout the valley. Check it out on the seeds.ca website. All right, that's it for this week. Remember to check growercoach.com, and we'll see you next week on The Garden Show.